The search for a new leader is about to begin, joined by the Labour MP Tristram Hunt. Is it going to be you?
Well, today's the day to think about still the colleagues we've lost in this election, those councillors who are still waiting for their results, and to think about what went wrong during this election campaign, because we'd rather have seen pictures of Ed Balls going into number 10 to think about what he wanted to do as Chancellor. And I think when we look at the election, we look at the results, what we failed to do was offer a convincing view of the future which spoke to the personal aspirations of people across Britain in a new social and economic climate, the owner-occupiers, the small business people, the self-employed. And the challenge now, as we think about a new leader and we think about rebuilding the party, is how do we shape the policy, how do we shape the language which is going to appeal to this modern Britain and offer them a vision of the future which speaks to them.
Yeah, but do you want to be the new leader?
But that's not an issue for today. It's about the lyrics.
Why is it not
rather
an issue
than
for today?
Because
the king is dead, long live the king.
No, because we've had the very dignified resignation of Ed Miliband only within the last few hours. We need to reflect on this, and we can't rush it. And what I am saying today is that I think the Labour Party National Executive Committee, which is our governing body, really has a good long time to think about the new leader and deputy leader of the Labour Party. We can't have any machine politics in this anymore. We need an open and transparent debate with lots of people coming forward to explore their views. And I think one of the challenges thinking about this election loss is to say, well, it wasn't just about the leadership of Ed Miliband, it's also about thinking about the policies and the philosophies and the instincts of the Labour Party and whether that appeals to the public.
You chose the wrong brother.
No, I think when we
you did though, didn't you? You chose the wrong brother.
No, I think when we think about what's happened over the last few years, Ed did an incredible job keeping the party together, but there's absolutely no doubt, and he said it today in very powerful language, he accepts full responsibility for the fact that we didn't sell this compelling vision of the future to the public. I think the other challenge we're facing now is about nationalism. And whether it's the SNP in Scotland or whether it's UKIP in England, the Labour Party needs a voice and an approach and a language which allows people to express and have pride in their national identity and not seek either UKIP or the SNP as the vehicle for that. And again, that's a challenge for us as a party which represents all of the United Kingdom.
And does that voice sound like yours?
I think there will be lots of voices. I know you're going to keep coming back to this.
Most certainly.
And I'm not going to answer that question because...
Don't you think that Labour supporters at home who are crying into their tea this evening will want to know who's going to take them forward? OK, you've got Harriet Harman with a steady hand on the tiller for now, but they'll want to know, very quickly who might be the right person to take the party forward and potentially recover from this humiliation.
Well, I would say don't be too quick about this. We're facing a 5-year fixed-term parliament. We're facing 5 years of this government, and we wish the new government well. We wish all new British governments well.
So you think with a majority of 10 they can manage for 5 years?
It's a fixed-term parliament. We thought the coalition wouldn't last...
We both know that...
We thought the coalition wouldn't last 5 years, and it did. I think we have to plan...
They had a majority of more than 10.
Yeah, no, we have to plan on this basis, and that gives us time to really set out this thinking properly.
Yeah, they also had a signed agreement as well, though, didn't they? Whereas with this Conservative majority of just 10, there are all sorts of ways where this Parliament could find itself dissolved before 5 years' time.
But again, that doesn't...
While you're still thinking about who might or might not be leader.
No, that doesn't negate the hard thinking that we have to do. If we think that, as it were, just the Eurosceptic problem or the SNP challenge is going to undermine this government, I think we're not taking them seriously enough. And it also then negates the kind of challenge that we face as a party to think about our economic message, to think about how we provide a vision of a social democratic Britain which appeals to Worcester woman and Mondeo man and those marginal seats in the East and West Midlands.
Pebbledash people, we know.
We need to win in seats like Lincoln and Southampton and Carlisle, which we failed to do. And that's both because, I think, language of cultural identity and Englishness and Scottishness, but also thinking that the Labour Party was on your side in terms of your material aspirations, your personal aspirations, your family's future. And that's what we've got to find in the coming years.
Yeah, but you know what? You took your time last time and look what happened.
Well, we didn't take our time.
We took months.
What happened was, and I think this criticism is totally valid, is that during that election period, we allowed a sort of account of the financial crash as a total result of Labour spending, rather than an issue to do with an over-dependence upon financial services to become the dominant narrative. And the criticism of that is absolutely correct, and we didn't do enough during the course of the Parliament to challenge that. But my message today is, let's think about the lyrics of our party rather than just the lead singer. Let's think about the philosophy and the politics and the values and the identity, and let's get it right.
Well, it's certainly been a hard day's night for you. As far as Liam Byrne and that letter's concerned, how many times have you cursed him?
I never curse Liam. I think Liam is
it's one of the things
advocate.
that did for you.
It's a brilliant advocate for Hodge Hill. He's a community activist. Yes, and you know, he wrote that note, which was a private note between ministers, and the coalition decided to leak it. And absolutely, it was thrown back. It was thrown back in our face. But the broader issue that it spoke to, and this is why it was problematic, was a sense that families didn't trust us with the public finances enough, and so when it came to their mortgage rates, when it came to their interest rates, they didn't think we were on their side. So the reason that letter got traction was, again, the Labour Party not having a vision of the future in which British people felt confident and comfortable, and that's why that letter came out again and again and again.
Yeah, especially during the election campaign. So, a final thought. You don't want to stand as Labour leader then. Who do you think should?
I think we've got a brilliant 2010 generation full of very confident and interesting people, from Chukra Muna to Rachel Reeves to Liz Kendall to Dan Jarvis. So there are lots of candidates out there who could take the party forward, and I think that's very exciting.
You missed one out.
Who was that?
David Miliband.
David Miliband is building a new career for himself in New York as a very distinguished public servant and diplomat.
It's just a sleep away, you know. It's just a sleep away. And if you'd chosen that brother, he could be a number 10 right now. You could be waiting for the phone to ring to find out what cabinet position you were getting.
But Kay, we've got to move on between one brother and another brother. It's about deeper thinking about the Labour Party and its values and its instincts and its appeal to the public.
So that door's closed, no more David Miliband.
It's a bigger challenge than the two brothers.
Definitely no to David Miliband.
You're drawing me down different avenues. I don't want to go down.
That's what I do for a living.
That's your job. I want to talk about the ideas and the values and the principles of the Labour Party.
I want to know whether you think David Miliband's no longer going to be his name in the ring.
I think David is building a new career for himself.
And if he wasn't, if he said, give me another chance. I saw what happened last time, give me another chance.
Well, I think that would be a conversation for another day, Kay.
Okay, I tried.
You did try. You tried brilliantly.
It's good to talk to you. Thanks so much indeed. Thank you. Now, David Cameron has returned.